Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. It's the budget padding controversy in the National Assembly, specifically in the House of Representatives, that we'll be looking at again this morning. And well, my guests, let me quickly introduce Mr. Clem Baye. Thank you very much for coming on, public policy analyst.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for coming on, Clem. And we also are delighted to have Honorable Jide Jimoh. Honorable Jide Jimoh is a member of the House of Reps. He indeed represents the Lagos mainland federal constituency. Thank you very much for coming. And you're on break now. That's why it's a bit easier for us to get hold of you guys. We can always get hold of you from the Abuja end too with our satellite there, but in this Lagos here, we like to see you guys now and again. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Okay then. This whole thing going on, first of all, this text, the latest incarnation of this problem is a text that we understand has been circulated among all the members, purportedly dragging Femi Gbajabiamila, the House leader, into the whole controversy. He is supposed to be scheming along with Jibrin, and the end result will be Femi Gbajabiamila Speaker, Jibrin Deputy Speaker. Of course, Gbajabiamila has said it's a spurious text and should be promptly ignored. And there are no such intentions. The whole thing is just out of the blue. But I just wanted you to know what Femi Gbajabiamila has said. Honorable Gbajabiamila, how say you, sir?
Well, thank you very much. I think the most important thing on this issue of this padding, or whichever language or adjective may apply, I've heard a lot of people talking about mutilation. Some people have said irregularity.
Well, let me just help out a bit. Looking at the report here, Jibrin himself, going on Twitter and saying that, by the way, I'm just coming back from the EFCC, where he said he has added one more person to the list of those he's accusing. I added, and I'm quoting directly, he says, I added one new name to my petition, Honorable Abonta Abonta, that is the member who spoke after me on Channels TV and denied that corruption exists in the House. And what specifically is the honorable gentleman, accusing the Speaker and everybody else of, that are not on his side? Well, his allegations against Dogara and others, reading again directly, include corrupt enrichment, abuse of office and public trust, living above means, and massive movement of funds in the budget.
Well, I think it's very clear, and I want to give thanks to Almighty God. I am a member of House of Representatives. Now that this issue is coming up, it's a welcome development for our politics. And I am not here to defend anybody. Neither am I here to defend that institution. Jibril Abdulmomin has said something. We should forget about the messenger. Let us target the message and the messages.
Okay.
The most important, let us get to the root of the whole matter, whoever that is involved. And is found wanting should be tried and prosecuted. It is very important. That's number one. Number two, the issue of padding or irregularity, mutilation, insertion, whichever name it's called. Since
movement of funds.
Since you have delayed from the right system to the wrong system, that means you are capable. You are culpable, and that person should be tried. Abdulmimino has said that there are so many number of people that have now been involved. That might not be even enough. We can still get another people in which he has not mentioned up to now. But whoever among members of House of Reps that is involved in this problem or crisis that has now descended to every single member of National Assembly is not too good for us. It's a shame, and it's rather unfortunate that something of that nature is coming up.
So
but it will help us. The last time you invited me to this program, I did mention, I said, if I were President Muhammadu Buhari, I wouldn't have signed the budget.
I recall.
I said it here. And I said, how can you give me summary of the budget without the details? And you expect me to sign?
It's an,
And when
interesting point you make, because that point has also been made by the principal officers at QC. Why did the president decline to sign the first budget approach that was not accompanied by the rest? So you are.
I said it here.
In other words, are you therefore saying that you have this kind of an attitude to all the allegations of Honorable Jibril?
Of course, yes. Of course. This is not my first time of being part and parcel of government. I've been in the local government, I've been in the state government, particularly House of Assembly in Lagos State. I have been the chairman of Public Account Committee for 7-8 years in the House of Assembly in Lagos State.
So you think the whole thing has been cooked up?
No, of course, yes. In a situation whereby you have budget submitted to an estimate, there should be proper processes. There should be proper procedure. When after it's been passed, the first reading, the second, the third reading, when you pass it, there must be details of this budget submitted to every single member of the National Assembly. Tell me, how many of us have the details up to now? How many? Not to talk of the president.
And when the speaker decided in his wisdom to shuffle, so to speak, the committees, yes, the leadership of the committees, it was a pretty routine affair, perhaps, is what you seem to be implying, rather than the Honorable Jibril's assertion that it's because he did not cooperate, that they wanted him to, shunt 40 billion naira one way or the other, that kind of a thing.
No, in the budget submitted by Mr. President, there's what we call intervention fund.
That is right.
10 billion per zones. Mm-hmm. And we have 6 zones, making it to be 60 billion. So at the end of the day, we discovered that this 60 billion was turned to be 100 billion. How come about it? Nobody can explain. Some people took Jibril up. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, it's not only him that has done this. It involved the principal officers. Now that some number of principal officers have been mentioned, let them come out and explain the situation. That is the purpose. Okay. Jibril is not coming up to help us now. Whether he is talking truth or not, but the fact still remains that let us look at that messages and try the message. That's my concern.
Okay, let's look away from the messenger and concentrate on the message and see if there's anything to the message.
That is it.
Clem, what do you make of all of this?
What I make of it, Yori, is that this is just is an exposure of the deep cancer, the wound that has been going on in the executive, in the legislature, and every arm of government, and practically every government institution in Nigeria, both federal, state, local government. Now, I would think that if Jibril did not have issues, we would not get to know this. My contention is this, that this typically is what has been happening. I said it in one or two fora that the president was right not to have signed that what was purportedly approved. That was not a budget. You cannot just give me a headline figure. Mm-hmm. Just give me something trillion and say, hey, just sign on the dotted line. That's not a budget. A budget is supposed to have details. A budget is an instrument of law. It should say we're going to build. We're going to do something in Makoko, which is his area. He's going to say we're going to do something in Makoko. We're going to do some poverty alleviation program in Makoko. We're going to vote X amount. He's not going to just say constituency project for the honorable member Jimoh representing Lagos mainland. No, that's not it. So it suggests that shenanigans have been going on, and it's now being called padded. Actually, it is not padded. It is theft, because there's element of fraud that is involved in it. Fraud is when you give an inclination that this is what you're doing, but actually you're doing something else.
Something different.
So we should come and say it. They're telling us that, in America, members of the Senate, members of the House, they have what they call earmarks there. Now, let me say, the distinction between earmarks in the U.S. and what is being practiced by many here is that in the U.S., he's a member from Lagos State. He can fight and say, this Fourth Mainland Bridge, We want it to be included in the budget. He goes around, all himself and all the others, Gbadagba Miller and others that are from Lagos, they go around and lobby their members and say, listen, we want this thing to be put in. They even go to lobby the executive. They go to the Ministry of Works and Housing, wherever it is, and say, Fourth Mainland Bridge, we want it. And then they put it there. But in my view, what we've been having before is that it is also an opportunity to raise funds for people's campaign. It is an opportunity, yes, at times to do something for the locality, which is good. But the bit of it that's not good is that, in my view, that it is not the responsibility of the legislature to start implementing the budget. Implementation is left to the executive. The executive is to prepare the budget and lay it before the National Assembly. The National Assembly or the legislature is to appropriate. That is to approve or say, I disapprove. And at times they can vary. But they vary above board, not vary below the table.
And that is the biggest problem that we have here. EFCC, ICPC, all of these people are coming. Even the GSS has been invited in. As we speak, the Secretariat of the Appropriations Committee, I understand, is still under lock and key, haven't been sealed. Yes. I think almost a week now, that kind of a thing. So there's this whole thing going on, and you can imagine we need very little encouragement to start fueling rumors. And they indeed have, you read some of the speculations in the paper about, you know what, that whole Dogara, Gbadagba Miller contest, which Gbadagba Miller said is over and done with, even as the smoke is still remains in certain areas. But having said that, he said he has been working very well with the Speaker. He supports the Speaker. He advised his colleagues to rally and let's get to the end of all of this. But there still is the rumor that, well, perhaps even Asiwaju Tinubu is not happy with Dogara, and there's no smoke without fire, and so all of this has begun. You understand that there will be Pepe Suba rumors. Call me, they call me. Yes. Are you surprised that those, do you think there's any ground, even if it is mistaken in this case, for such, quite frankly, stories to emerge?
Well, let me just say that because in politics, you should expect something of this nature to come up. It's not new to me as a person. I know what people can say at any point in time when there's problem. Because if you have been doing the right thing, you can dare anybody. I can dare anybody if I have been doing the right thing. I can challenge anybody. But if you are not free,
if your hands are not, if you are compromising some form.
Exactly. You will be suspicious of yourself, not to even suspicious of another person. Well, if somebody is saying Gbadagba Miller might be with what Jibril is saying. Jibril is saying, as far as it's concerned, it doesn't have anything to do with Gbadagba Miller. The fact still remains that this is an institution. The institution has been dragged to the entire public domain. As a member of that institution, what is my own role in making it better? That is what should concern me. If somebody is now saying that Gbadagba Miller is in the know of what Jibril is doing.
Well, as a leader, because the point was also made that is why Jibril never mentioned Gbadagba Miller's name, even though he's the House leader.
You know what? I remember vividly the day Jibril was to be removed. That was the last day before the recess. Jibril also went out to go and address the media that is leaving that position. What stopped Dogara from removing Jibril before that day? What stopped him from doing that before that? If he has known that Jibril has not been doing well, what stopped him from removing him before that day? For the fact that Jibril has gone out to address the press conference, that is also leaving that position, that means somewhere is wrong. That's what it means.
Clem, can you follow that logic?
Yes, I think I do follow. I suspect definitely something, in the state of
all
Denmark.
All is not well in the state of Denmark.
Yes.
All is not well. Clearly, it looks like the more you look at this whole matter, the more there is something to at least investigate and resolve that either there is or there isn't. But the whole point about this must be investigated, I think that is what is coming out clearly now.
Exactly.
There must
That's
be
the
an
key.
investigation.
That's the key.
Absolutely, Yori. There ought to be an investigation. We ought to know. And this, you see, when these things happen, apart from the catharsis, it's a cleansing process. It's an opportunity for the legislator, both the House of Representatives and the Senate, to look at their system and cleanse it. These things do happen. I said it before. There used to be problem with when the House has the U.S. Congress has appropriated things, and then the president may say he's not implementing that budget or that aspect of the budget. That's how they came up with the Budget Impoundment Act, that the president cannot impound the budget. But they they took something away, but they gave him something. There's a line item veto, which means that the president can sign a budget and say, but clause so of this budget, I do not agree to it. So they ought to have had a line item veto, so that gives the president the opportunity to veto and not stall the system and get the system, solidified and impossible to move on. But what is happening is that it is personal interests that are at stake here. It's not national interest. From what I am seeing,
and that's the
I'm yet to see. Abdul Mumini would convince me later that truly he is being altruistic. But
yes.
Okay, I buy the argument of Representative Jimoh that let's look at the message and not look at the messenger.
Okay. There's one thing I want to say.
Sure.
He has just mentioned something now, particularly the system that's been operated in the United States. That was the system we also applied at National Assembly, particularly we from Lagos. When they came up from this 10 billion intervention fund per zone, the one that was given to Lagos State, it was actually per constituency. It was distributed 40 million. Like Lagos Mainland, 40 million. Lagos Island, 40 million. Island 2, 40 million. At the end of the day, we now decided from Lagos that let's all the members from Lagos put this money together, approach the governor. What project do you think we can do that will be meaningful to the generality of Lagosia? And the PDP opted out. They said they are not for us. So the remaining 18 people put this money together, made it to be 720 million. And that was what we inserted in the budget as of this 2016. But we now approached the governor. The governor said it's going to have a very big entertainment and hall somewhere in Lagos. It's either Ikeja or Epe. Or now said, just choose anywhere. Wherever you have chosen, that's where we pull our money. It was inserted in the budget. That was what we have done as far as Lagos is concerned. Others have not done that.
Thank you for that. Mr. Hassan, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori, the Honorable Jide Jimoh, and our normal guest, Mr. Clem Baye. This issue of padding, the way I look at it and the way I see it, is much more a breach of governance or organs of government organogram by one organ trying to absorb the function of the another one by virtue of trying to fraudulently enrich itself. This was born out by greed. This was not born out by nationalism. It was not born out by patriotism of the members of the National Assembly, including the senior house that claim to be matured now, the Senate. They are all guilty of the same thing. The pardon itself is a breach. The pardon itself is a crime. The pardon itself is much more a way of somebody taking over power of another organ because they wanted to enrich themselves. It has been going on for long. I've been saying it in this forum. Right from Obasanjo era, they've been doing it. MPS will go to them. They will settle the National Assembly. They will do whatsoever. I see people that are not contented with what comes to them according to the constitutional provision. They wanted to make laws, and they wanted to be the one taking the money and disposing the money, which is very, very unfair to our democracy, very, very unfair to humanity, very, very unfair to whatsoever that is positive in our society. Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, Mr. Hassan. Thank you very much. Clem, what we're confronted with now is we have a National Assembly that seems to be alternating, the sort of hosting of crises, rather than getting on with the whole business of governance for which they were elected. So much time, so much energy. This, you can see, is just having a rippling effect. Suddenly, Femi Falana, SAN, gets in on the act, has made his own commentary that, oh, by the way, the DSS has no right whatsoever to investigate those people. Then I heard, I saw something, some legislators from Ekiti states now say that they take exception to Falana's position, and it's just going on. And the whole business of fixing our society, the whole business of change, all of these distractions, the cost is very, very high, Clem.
It is very high.
Excuse me, with due respect to
Yes, sir.
SAN Femi Falana.
Yes, sir.
So if I have a house and I discover there are some kind of irregularity, I put a letter to DSS. Please come and investigate me. If DSS fail to come and investigate, I know if they will take, somebody can take DSS up. Abdulmumini wrote letter to DSS that we are having problem. We have committed fraud. There are corruptions. There are allegations. Please come to the National Assembly to come and investigate.
That is after telling the EFCC,
Yeah.
after telling the ICPC,
Exactly.
and
So
now
it was-
going to State Security
Exactly.
Service.
The State Security Service now came just to say, okay, this man has written letter, and we have gone through this letter. Let us go and investigate.
Okay, Clem, I'm going to come to you because in the meantime, Mr. Mukaila has come in from Ikorodu. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Okuyori,
Thank you for calling, sir.
and good morning to your guests in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
See, what I'm more concerned about is now is what are we taking away from it as Nigerians? Because the pardon has been there over the years. It's not today. We are talking about House of Reps. What's going on about the Senate? Nobody's talking about that one now. We don't know what is even happening there.
That's why I say they're
Let's go
alternating
back-
the hosting
let's
of
go down to,
crises.
State House of Assembly. I believe we have similar situations. Nobody is even talking about that. But now we are starting with the House of Reps. What are we going to take away from it as Nigeria? That is what we are more concerned about. And are we next year project, no constituency project for the Senate or the House of Reps? Let's take it out of the system totally. It's alien to our constitution. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Honestly,
Mukaila. Yes,
honestly,
please.
Yori, there's nothing wrong with constituency project if it is understood that it's in the interest of the people. Let us look at the positive side of it. The positive side is that you can presuppose that in my village, deep in Kogi State, that somebody does not know that maybe guinea worm that's supposed to have been eradicated, that maybe there's still some problem. I'm speaking a bit hypothetically now. All right. And it says it is a matter of water. So you go to the Ministry of Water Resources and say, okay, everybody from that senatorial zone, let's say this year, we're going to zero in on the water, on the problem of water, of treatment, whatever it is, and the rest of it. So we work together on it. That has an impact on everybody. But what I oppose is what has been happening, that it becomes a slush fund for me to run my campaign. That is what I oppose. And it is not right, and it can never be right. But that has been the practice over the years, that a lot of the funds actually become slush funds. That's why Abdulmumini Jibrin is making those huge, those terrible allegations about the huge funds and saying, I know the guy speaks with a lot of gusto.
Of course.
And he's speaking, and he seems very confident about his facts. Let's see whether his facts can stand the test
Even
of
though
time.
some people have retorted that, look, but you yourself, there's a 40 billion naira matter that you put in your own favor for your own constituency. But I'm waiting to comment.
Yes, Yori, but if he put it in the constituency and he did not have a hand in the execution of it, and it was left to the executive to execute, that may not be very bad. It may not be the best, but certainly it may not be very bad.
Mazi Okoro Afo, Abia State, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good morning. Our guest in the studio, Comrade Mazi Okora from Patrick in Arochukwu, Abia State, Obluvili. Now, you see, I want to find out from our guest. This issue of constituency fund and constituency, not everyday constituency, why is it that for the past 16 years plus, this 17, making it 17 years, we have National Assembly in Nigeria? There is no state or local government or community that can say this is what they have done. Another condition, for that past 17 years, this pattern has been going on, not only in National Assembly, local government, community, even in the offices. You will see directors will come down and they will sit down and the DG will be there. At the end of the day, they say they have now made a budget. At the end of the day, they have funded their own system, their own money for something else at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they will share the money at during December. And it's happening in the ministries. And today, thank God that it has been exposed that the past National Assembly that they have been doing it. Now, my question to our guests, the two gentlemen in the studio there, my grandpapa there, is this. Why are Nigerians still closing their eyes? And all these things have been going on. And the past constitution, can't we ask those past people that have been there before, what have they done with the constituency fund, which they have been collecting? And we have seen the type of, that when you talk about poverty, disease, education problems, see what's happening in Nigeria, illiteracy. At least, UNESCO have said that it will take Nigeria 58 years, but I'm saying it will take Nigeria 70 years to eradicate illiteracy. And why is it that we cannot stand up on our feet and say, this is what we want with our money? And I've been saying it, any project and any project we have to do now, we have to bring in the youth leader and the professional rulers in all those things to be part and parcel of this. Because when you say you carry this money to MDS, who are they? Are they not government officials, the state government? Now, at the end of the day, they will come in and collect their own share. And nothing is done. And look at what people are complaining to be doing the same patterning, whether patterning or packing, anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mazi. I don't know.
He's correct. I mean, and to add it very personal to him, I mean, 6 years ago, I drove from Uzuakoli to Ohafia to Arochukwu, which is his area. And I looked at the surrounding. Yes, I could see so many new houses. I did my NYC in that part, years back before. And I could see so many new houses. But I didn't see people looking better. The roads were awful. And I'm sure they're still awful. So I think that Mazi should be asking his representatives, like, what are you people doing? Why is this Ohafia Arochukwu Road up to our people? Why is it so bad? Why haven't you done anything about it?
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll continue with this conversation, and also with taking your calls on the subject. Okay, we're still here with Mr. Clem Baye, policy analyst, public policy analyst, and Honorable Jide Jimo, member of the House of Representatives. So glad to have you. The Secretariat of the Appropriation Committee is still under lock and key. What's that all about?
That's part of the process of investigation. And before investigation can be commenced,
evidence
exactly. That's part of. I mean, I think I want it. I like it, and it's good for the polity. It's good for our system. It's
Even
good
as
for
this
the whole
thing-
Nigeria
because
that will
Gbajabiamila-
help us to get to the root of the whole matter.
I was reading what Gbajabiamila would probably be calling the forced text that came from him, because he said he has studiously maintained silence on this matter, lest he be misinterpreted, knowing full well that anything he says as leader of the House will have an impact one way or the other.
Sure.
Now, in his copious text, he had even observed in there that, look, such little of the respect and that people have for our capability here, we have to be very, very, very careful to just make sure we guard it and then grow it, because I think he was implying in the text to his colleagues that this is a very delicate matter, and if we don't handle this thing properly, the whole respect we have in the eyes of the ordinary man in the street will be even lower. And so that's something we have to be very careful about. Now, the very senior people who are involved in this part, I wonder if they also have that sentiment at the top of their mind, that the integrity of the house needs to be protected, whatever it takes. Here you are, you're sitting there, you're forthright that, look, if for whatever it is worth, forget the messenger, let's examine this message so we can clean this thing up once and for all. Well, that's you. Are you concerned that maybe some other people are not towing this line of respectability for the house?
You don't expect every single person who's a member of House of Reps to speak with one voice. It's not possible. 360 people from different background, different ethnicity, different educational background, and so on and so forth. I know myself, I can speak for. That's why I said I am not here to defend anybody. Either I'm here to defend Gbajabiamila or to defend Dogara or Jubilee Aminu. Whoever that is involved in this rubbish should be
okay. Gbajabiamila doesn't even need any defense. Nobody has mentioned his name yet.
Exactly.
In fact, the man is the man who is running around there that don't bring me into.
That's why,
as Yoruba people say, don't put your finger in my mouth just because you want to hear me say something. Samale, I understand. Did I get that right?
Good morning, Yori.
Good morning, Samale.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, what is the ruling party doing over this issue? We have not heard a comment from them. We heard yesterday that the man at the center of the controversy has been invited. We hope they are not trying to sweep this issue under the carpet. Because this is a party, we said, is party corruption. This is at the level of their hands now. Something has to be done. We are waiting for the presidency to make a comment over this. Again, like what the last man said, I expect all the principal officers, even the majority leaders, they should step aside now.
Okay.
Step aside and let the relevant bodies do their work. If at the end of the day they are not found guilty, they can return. But they did there now because Mr. Jibrin is threatening that he's going to the court. This is a country whereby if Mr. A is caught messing up, instead of throwing it somewhere, he will say, no, I'm not involved. Please, we are watching. We are watching. Because this is what Nigerians have been saying, that the fight against corruption is one-sided. Now, principal officers from the ruling party are involved in the issue of this nature, and nothing is being done. Thank you for it.
Thank you very much, Samale, for calling in. Maybe I should give you that because, first of all, has the ruling party come out with any sort of statement on this? Because people seem to be looking at this and seeing if it will self-correct.
This is beyond a political party. It has become general. Somebody made an allegation.
In the public space now.
Exactly.
It's no more a family affair.
It's not more a family affair. The man that has just spoken is contributing his own quota to the system. You are also doing similar thing. The media houses are doing similar thing. The journalists are doing similar thing. Everybody should be involved. This is about cooperation. This is about collectivity. It's not about individual. It's not about party. It's not about APC or PDP.
It's about
somebody
what is right.
Somebody has made an allegation against particular persons.
The leadership effectively.
Yeah, exactly. About 5 of them. Let the investigation commence and make it public. That is the most important thing. Let's make it public once and for all. We have just spent 1 year out of 4 years. That's the time. 1 year out of 4 years. It's good that it's happening now. Let us nip on the board and get to the root of the whole matter. That is the most important thing. It's not about any political party.
Okay. Joseph calling in from Umuahia. Good morning.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Honest.
Yeah, good morning. Please, I want to say categorically that if the principal officers of the House of Assembly should be set aside so that the investigation should be conducted and then look into, and then those who are guilty should be sanctioned. I think such ideas should also be extended to the Senate itself, where Saraki and Ekuremado have invited. So they should also stay aside and not being presiding over their own case, even calling the Attorney General of the Federation to come and answer them on their distance. I think it's very bad. It's not what the world would like to hear from Nigeria. What they will do, all of them should stay aside, and then foreign investigation should be going into their case, and those indicted should be sanctioned. If you look at it, such things that have been happening all these years, which PDP rule, it has also continued because these are the members of the PDP itself. And this has entered into their blood. They cannot do anything. If you see how if you see how the speaker, the deputy speaker, the senate president and the deputy senate president and all the principal officer were mad, how they tell me, you know that something is somewhere wrong. And you know that they are coming up for something. And what are they coming for? It is exactly what we are seeing now. How to lose Nigeria treasury, how to dupe Nigeria, and at the end of it, the plan will go to Buhari, say he's not doing anything. While Buhari is fighting all way to make sure that Nigeria is keep the start, to make sure that Nigeria has a new way of life, to make sure Nigeria live a new life. To the world, to see in Nigeria, they are not that bad, but the leaders who are leading them are bad. Many of them are there in the Senate, who are governors, who have looted the state treasury. But they have been allowed. Not that the people voted them in. People did not vote them in. They voted themselves in.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Joseph, for an impassioned contribution. I think between him and somebody else, that look, why don't all these guys step aside? Well, it's a bit sweeping. It doesn't work like that. That the whole team should step aside, and for good measure, those in the Senate too, step aside. Put different people in there, and let's get to the bottom of this.
The reason why that point will resonate with a lot of people is that they would find it difficult to investigate themselves. And is the speaker going to set up a House committee now, ad hoc committee, to investigate the allegations? All I'm saying is, let's deal with Jibrin, Abdulmumuni Jibrin. That's all I'm hearing. Maybe they have plans to say, okay, he's saying we did this. You, House, let's set up an ad hoc committee to investigate his allegations. I haven't seen that. No. Am I likely to see that? Well, judging by the past, I doubt it very much. Or you get to give.
Well, at least we have the Honorable Jimo, who has said that is precisely what is required.
Exactly.
That's what the doctor ordered.
That should be it. That's why Abdulmumuni is going around to every agency. Possibly, he possibly will go to the fire service, go to everybody,
that everybody has a copy of this petition.
Everybody has a copy, just in case.
So if you kill it, I can go and raise it from here.
If you kill it here, this person is not likely to let it lie in the deep freezer.
And the man is said is loaded with so many evidences. So allow him to present it.
Now, people are seeking to involve everybody. We've just spoken about how people seem to, try to involve Femi Gbajabiamila in this. I made the comment that there are those who have gone as far as saying that even the leader of the national leader of APC is not disinterested in the matter as a speculation.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. The party ought to be concerned about what is going on in the National Assembly. This is my view. I'm not a party member, but I think that the ruling party ought to be concerned about what is going on in the National Assembly. They ought to send out discreet feelers to find out exactly what the situation is, and possibly advise certain people that, look, the way this thing is going, mud is going to be spattered on everybody, and not just on yourself, even the party, because we are purportedly the party for change. And if we're the party for change, and we are practicing what Nigerians loathe with so much venom, and we are not seen to be trying to be doing something about it, then it shows that they will be saying, wait till 2019.
Exactly. Say it was Namout then there for change. When it came to the real matter, we didn't see any change.
They could not do anything.
The party
ought to be concerned. I'm not saying that they should say, oh, it's a family affair, bring it in. That's not what I'm saying, because that's a typical silly thing we get here, something very serious that ought to be resolved with sanctions against those that are culpable. You say it's a family affair. That's not the way.
This is not a family affair. This has
I don't know how you want the party.
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Hold the thought. Please remember it. Let me bring in Honorable Yakub calling in from Dokwemu. Good.
This is not honorable, sir.
Okay, Yakub. Okay. Go right ahead, Yakub.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chief. Thank you very much. God bless you once again. Chief, and then good morning to the two wise men in the studio.
Good morning. Good morning.
Chief, I'm very happy the Honorable Jima is in that studio because I had some questions which I believe that you can give me answer if it is truly honorable.
Okay.
Number one, the question is this. Are you in the same line of some of the honorable members in that allotted chamber that promising Nigerian citizens when they are canvassing for vote that you will give us roads, you will give us water, you will give us electricity, which is primarily, it is not your responsibility. That is where some of these people put themselves in a problem. Especially whereby honorable wants to canvass for vote from me and telling me that he wants to rebuild my street, he wants to give me a water, he wants to build a school. Meanwhile, who send you people for those things? Okay, if you say what to do not those things, what is the responsibility of local government chairman then? Now, if honorable members can go to our chamber and begin to corner 40 billion naira in the name of what do people call it? So,
constituency projects.
So what is the local government doing? And then, this is a test for ruling party. If this matter sits under the carpet, I can bet you, I'm one of the people who campaign for these people. You can bear me that witness every time I come to this station. If they can sweep this thing under the carpet, and then these people do not going down because Jubril, he has the fact. Even though the Jubril is partaking this kind of thing, they should go down together. If the ruling party say, okay, this is a family affair, as they normally said before, when the former government, they say it's a family affair. This is not the era of family affair. You put this change. The change must be total. They should go down, and then Nigerian citizens will not believe the problem that it shouldn't mean for this country. Honorable member in that studio, please give me that answer. If it is truly a promising order, thank you.
All right then. Thank you very much, Yakub. Okay. Going back to the electioneering, you heard him. People who are going to the National Assembly promise what is clearly not within their responsibility. Gullible prospective voters lap it up. They then arrive and try to indeed keep promises that was not theirs to give in the first place. Guilty or not guilty in your case?
I just want to thank Honorable Yakubu because you know why I want to thank him.
Yeah.
He has spoken passionately.
Yes.
And it's so much
that's him.
Yeah,
he
so
does it
much
every day.
concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I want him to know that I'm not under interrogation. Mm-hmm. Either am I under cross-examination. Mm-hmm. I will not react to whatever he has said. I can only respond. But my answer will be that at the time I was campaigning, I never promised anybody anything about road. What I told them is that the function of legislature is what I will follow. Oversight function, representation, and ensure that I pass law. Mm-hmm. And that has been my responsibility all along that I've been there.
But for
our
example,
party,
look at sorry,
for our party.
Honorable, just help me out and maybe help Yakub out here. Take, for instance, he calls in from Dokwemu. Now, whoever is a legislator going to anywhere, it might even be the state assembly, but if Dokwemu falls within his constituency, he knows that he has the challenge that those he is speaking to, I expect him to tell them what difference you are going to make to here, why I should invest my vote in you.
Okay, that's why I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So I'm coming to that. That's why I said I was going to say something about our party. When I was contesting and I was campaigning, I did mention, I said when I get to the National Assembly, we have what we call fire station in Ebutemeta, Awapa Road. In the past 12, 20 years, that place has not been functioning. When I was the council chairman, I established power service station in Yaba Local Council Development Area, and it's still there up to today. The first motion I moved in the National Assembly was that issue of a fire service, and that has been granted, and the government has inserted it in the budget that the fire station in the Ebutemeta will be reconstructed and fire machine will be provided. That's one of those things. That's good representation.
Sure.
However, our party promised a lot of things, infrastructure, this and that. We are still on that. But any member of National Assembly or House of Assembly who is contesting and campaigning should not promise what he cannot do.
Okay.
Just make sure you are ready to work in collaboration with the executive arm of government to provide social welfare, good packaging and infrastructure. Okay. If you can do that as a party, you are going to be part of the success.
It's division of labor, and everybody has his own part to play.
Of course.
The problem is where.
So I know the difference between executive and the legislative.
Overlap.
So because I've been in the two positions, so I know what I can do at any time.
Okay. Can I thank Laja calling in from Aja for holding on all this while? Please go ahead now.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Uncle Yori, please, you need to beg these National Assembly members to stop embarrassing us. It's becoming too much. It's becoming too much. They need to stop embarrassing us. How can a Senate president hire someone that is called National Youth Council, President of National Youth Council, as an essay? It's becoming too much. He's not even representing us, the youth, and they should be ready for us. It's not going to be business as usual again. 2019 is going to be different. We are tired of them. They are shameless people.
Oh dear. Well. Oh dear. That was an angry Laja. It happens. It happens. He's exasperated. But you see, maybe that's your main concern, his attitude, that we have to be watchful of the fact that maybe a few more people than we would care to have such an attitude are beginning to acquire it. And so there's a lot of responsibility on the part of the honorable members and distinguished senators to live up to the expectation.
People voted in the government. People voted in the ruling party. And they voted in the ruling party because they thought they were going to provide solutions to the nation's problems.
That's right.
And yes, corruption is being tackled. But there's
and
so
it is
much,
fighting back.
Yeah, but it is fighting back. There's so much poverty, there's so much deprivation, and then there's social alienation, particularly youth unemployment. And those things are issues that concern everybody. Even if you are not, you don't have problem with unemployment, so long as your neighbor's children or children within the city, within where you live, have problem with unemployment, you know that they have the trend of becoming the devil's workshop.
That's right.
And you ought to be concerned about it. And you should join everybody in making sure that these people, their feet are held to the fire, that listen, do the right thing. Don't start saying, quote unquote, pardon. Pardon is an expression to give it respectability. Somebody in the Punch said, it's used a stronger word than pardon. He said, this is theft.
It's theft. It's outright theft.
Yes.
Apostle Adekunle, good morning, sir. Thank you for holding on. You're calling in from Ota. Good morning, sir.
Gentlemen, brothers there, good morning. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Now, you see, what President Buhari come to do, these people are against. They are ready from onset. They know their mission. They don't come to serve Nigeria. Look at Taraki, look at Gagora or Dugara. They are never having their mind to come and serve Nigeria. They have come accordingly. You know, they have been there several times, several years. They want to come to continue to dupe Nigeria. What I will say is that let us continue to pray for Nigeria and President Buhari to succeed this time, and Nigeria shall succeed. And two, very importantly, we have to give President Buhari all the necessary support to succeed. The church should come up, the police, the DSS, the army, everybody, including myself, including yourself there. Please, let us continue to support. Let us. You have the medium to say, to speak out to Nigeria. Let these people go away. Let them leave Nigeria alone. Nigeria is not their house.
So Apostle, you also think these people should step aside for the moment?
Let them step aside.
Okay.
They should step aside, including Saraki and Dugara and all their components. Okay.
All right then. Thank you very, very much, Apostle Adekunle. That's the last call that we can take. It's a brewing it's on the stove.
Honestly.
And people are saying that, no, you can't take this off. Leave it there. We are going to see how all of this plays itself out. I don't have any more time, but do you think this is a particular kind of a test for the ruling party?
Of course, yes.
And how the ruling party handles this.
Exactly.
Even though it is not a party matter.
And the generality of Nigeria.
I know,
yes.
but how the stance of the ruling party is probably going to be important, because
very, very
it
important.
has provided an opportunity for people
very,
to
very
now see
important. Very,
what
very
these positions are. Clem, a few words in seconds.
A few words. This should not be allowed to be swept under the carpet. We ought to get to the root of it. We should get to the bottom of it, and whoever is found culpable should go in for it, as we used to say.
Okay, just in case, where's that? Let me quote it directly as I go. The Jubrin's charge against Dogara and others include corrupt enrichment, abuse of office and public trust, living above means, and massive movement of funds in the budget. Let's hope that there will be adjudication so we know what exactly is true and what is spurious. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on.
Thank you,
Mr. Clem Baye and the Honorable Jide Jimoh. Bye-bye for now.